So today on Pat's Car Garage, I'll be answering the question that literally nobody has asked me. Well, except for myself. And that is, how good are these Philips Vision LED bulbs? So, there's tons of LEDs out there you can buy, on eBay and whatever. And, they all suck, right? Everyone's like, oh, they flicker, or there are these ginormous PCBs with like 50 diodes on them, and you switch them on, it's brighter than the HIDs on an Acura. There's tons of crap out there, so I wanted to find something that was good. And I'm pleased to say that I did find these that are actually really good. I bought a couple earlier on just to test them out and see, before spending any money, like if they're actually worth it. And I have to say, they totally are. So I ordered some more, and what I have here are two sizes. I've got 43 millimeters, which I'm holding here, and 38 millimeters, the smaller one. So first of all, they're actually built super, super well. I really like the build quality on them. They've got a single big diode in the middle here, and they've got this little hazed cover so that it, spreads the light out a little bit, because diodes are very directional. And on the back side, you've got a heat sink, which is a very nice touch, because LEDs, they do make a lot of heat, given that, the light is focused, at the very center, and that gets very, very hot. So, even if you're not actually dissipating that much power, you're putting it in a tiny surface area, so naturally the diode gets very hot. And it's nice to see that there is a heat sink, because then, you dissipate some of the heat and your bulb lasts longer. And this is the Philips bulbs, the Vision ones. There's another series called the Ultinon, but for the Vision bulbs, they're backed by a 12-year warranty, so, clearly they have some faith in their product. And importantly, they're DOT approved, so at least for the US, if you have some states with mandatory inspections, and, they're particularly picky about what light bulbs you put in your car, and they should be, these, you will not fail an inspection because of these, because they are approved. So, I mean, because the thing is, some people, when they buy interior dome light bulbs or whatever, they, goes for those monstrosities with 20 diodes on them. And the thing is, when engineers design the lighting for a car, they take into account how that lighting's supposed to be used. The dome lights are supposed to illuminate the interior enough so that you can see and, maybe look for something and read stuff, but not so much that it fucks up your night vision. So, if you throw in this enormous LED board, well, then obviously you might totally tank your night vision, and it could be a potentially dangerous situation, if you don't know what you're doing. So, so that's why these things are regulated, and luckily these are approved. So anyway, I'm going to be testing these in a little bit, so I'm going to go over my predictions and how I'm actually going to test these. And keep in mind, okay, disclaimer, the Pat's Car Garage is not an ANSI accredited laboratory, so, take it easy. This is just to answer some questions that you might have about these bulbs. So my predictions are, for the 43 millimeter, here I've got an incandescent one that I took out. Relative to the 43 millimeter bulbs, these are, I suspect they're going to be a little bit dimmer, and I'll go over why in just a second. But compared to the 38 millimeter bulbs, I also have a 38 millimeter size here. Compared to the 38 millimeter bulb, they will be brighter. And my reasoning behind that is fairly simple. Two different sizes, and you've got the same size diode right here in the middle. So, I don't know, stands to reason that they would make the same amount of light. But the thing is, when you actually look at how much these incandescent bulbs are rated for, nominally, the 43 ones are 10 watts, and the 38 millimeter ones are 5 watts. So, if you have 43 millimeter bulbs in your car, the chances are it's going to be a little bit dimmer, and if you have 38 millimeter bulbs in your car, they're going to be a little bit brighter. So, why do I think they're going to be a little bit dimmer? Well, I'm just basing off of my testing protocol here. I'm going to use my phone's light sensor. See here, it's switched on right now, and you can see that it's picking up a reading. Depending on if you have it towards the light, it gets more. Anyway, the ambient light sensor on a phone is it's a good enough device. Like I said, not ANSI accredited, so chill out. the way these light sensors work is that they're calibrated to the sensitivity of the human eye, but the human eye has different sensitivities for different colors of light. You know, we're more sensitive to yellow and red or whatever, and we're less sensitive to blue light. Now, these LED bulbs, they have a 6000K color temperature, which means they're a little bit on the blue side of the spectrum. So even if they, you know, by a very accurate measurement of light output, they're identical to incandescent bulbs, because they're more blue than the incandescent bulbs, will perceive less light, and the light sensors on the phones will reflect that. So this is going to be more or less the test setup. I'll measure, what I'll do is, first I'll measure the, you know, good old incandescent bulbs with my phone in two spots. One right there, right in the center on the armrest. And then I'm going to set it down on the driver's seat, you know, roughly all the way towards the back in the middle of the seat. And I'm going to take light measurements for the incandescent bulbs. Then I'm going to swap the light bulbs out and take a measurement for the LED bulbs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until it's nighttime, and I'm going to set up my camera so that, you know, I can film it and you guys can see how I'm going to do it. But yeah, I'll wait until it's nighttime. That way I'm not getting, you know, like, my light measurement is more accurate. So right now my phone is reading 19 lux. I want to wait for it to be totally dark and reading 0 lux before I do this test. And I'm going to make a nice little graph, or, you know, table, whatever, how bright the light bulbs are. I'm only going to be testing the 43mm bulbs in this video anyway, because the dome light uses 43mm bulbs everywhere. So the 38mm bulbs, I've got 2 for the license plate light, and I've got another one already installed in the glove box. And just right now, visually, I can tell you that the 38mm LED bulb is definitely brighter than the incandescent one, based on how bright it seems inside the glove box. But, you know, I can't stick my phone in the glove box because it's too small, so I won't be able to test them. So yeah, it's just going to be a test for the 43mm bulbs. Okay, so now, first I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so now I got the rear dome light on just so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to set up the light sensor on my camera. So let's see this. Okay, so it's reading 0 lux. Gonna set it on the center console, right in the middle. Now I'm gonna turn off the rear dome light and switch on here. And I have a reading of 87 lux. Of course, before I forget, I've got another test that I need to do, which is to set it on the middle of the seat. So, okay, switch that off, and switch this on. And in the middle of the seat, I have a reading of 17 lux. Alright, so now I've got the both light bulbs swapped around, both light bulbs in the dome light swapped around to LEDs. So I'm going to try that out. I changed the white balance on the camera too, so they are more blue-ish, but they're not totally blue. So anyway, I don't know how well the camera is going to reflect that. So I'm going to switch off the rear dome light and switch on the front. So I'm getting a reading of 50 lux. On the center console. So now I'm going to put the phone on the chair, and I'm getting a reading of 11 lux. So yeah, I hope this video like answers a couple of questions, especially one that I had at the very beginning was, how well do they dim? You know, do they flicker while they dim? And while they dim, they actually they don't flicker at all. Oh wait, that's just instant on off. But if I open the door, whoops, that's not closed, and I close the door again, they dim very, very nicely. So no flickering while dimming, because, you know, depending on how the circuit implements its dimming. I saw it on the camera, it looked like it flickered a little bit, but that might be an artifact of the camera. Like, from where I'm standing, you can't see them flicker at all. So these light bulbs are really, really good. So yeah, again, you know, like, it's very possible that because of the light sensor inside the phone, it's reading a lower value than what it really is. But nonetheless, it's really bright inside the car. Like, I wouldn't, you know, like, it says there's about 30 lux less or 40 lux less, but like, visually speaking, it's almost as bright as with the incandescent bulbs. So if you're worried about brightness, you shouldn't be, because these are plenty good enough. And I do like the bluer light. As you can see on the camera, I still haven't found an LED to replace the little reading light, so I'm gonna have to look for one. But yeah, one advantage is these lights, they hardly draw any power. So before, all three dome lights, it's 10 plus 10 plus 10 watts, it's 30 watts. Now these probably draw less than, you know, 1 watt or thereabouts. So you go from 30 watts down to 3. You could leave the dome lights running on all night and you wouldn't even like discharge the battery. So that's one advantage. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, stick around for more cool stuff.